This video will show you the basics of using conditional formatting in Google Sheets and Excel. I'll answer these questions about conditional formatting. How do you use it? How do you create custom formulas? And how can you use this in applicable situations? I'm Kyle, your resident spreadsheet nerd here at TechnologyAdvice, and I'll walk you through the A to Z's of conditional formatting. Let's go. Firstly, how do you even start? Conditional formatting, simply put, is changing the look of a set of cells based on preset criteria. Quick note, I'll be doing just about all of this in Google Sheets, but check out this timestamp to see the equivalent spots in Excel. You can use conditional formatting by going to Format in the toolbar at the top of your screen and then choosing Conditional Formatting. This new menu pops up, and now you can begin formatting. But what do all these different sections mean? Let's break it down. Apply to range is where you can choose which cells you want to format based on a condition. If you selected the cells before going to conditional formatting, then this will be auto-populated. If you did not, you can either type in the cells you want to look at, or you can click the little 2x2 grid button here and then select the cells you want to look at. Format rules is where you can choose the conditions. The drop-down gives a lot of different options, including is empty, greater than, less than, is between, or my favorite, custom formula is. We'll come back to that later. Below that, formatting style is where you can choose the formatting you want to apply to these cells. You can bold, italicize, underline, and strike through the text, change the color of the text, and change the color of the cell itself. As of the recording of this video, you cannot change the color or format of the border of the cell with conditional formatting. So, for example, let's say I have this list of coworkers and the amount of times they've said they like my cat, Princess. Let's say I want to highlight in red all the folks that have only told me they like my cat once or fewer. The audacity. I'd start selecting all the cells that I want to potentially format. Now, I'd go to Format Rules dropdown and choose less than or equal to, and type 1 in the value or formula field. Then in the formatting style section, I'll change the text and cell color to be big, red, and scary looking. When I hit done, bah! These cat haters all have the red badge of shame. It's a joke, of course. Everyone loves my cat. In addition to all those options, you can also choose to do a color scale instead of a single color. Click the Color Scale tab up here, and then you can click on these color gradients to choose one of these default options to use as a base, or choose the Custom Color Scale option to build it up from scratch. Now you can set a min point, a max point, and an optional midpoint. For instance, let's say I have a bunch of percentages between 0% and 100%, and I want all of the cells that are low to be red, and all the ones that are high to be blue. So I can set the min point type as min value, which would set the min point as the smallest number in the series, or I could set it at a static number, like 0, by using one of the other options, like number, percent, or percentile, depending on what we're looking for. I can then tweak the color here, and I'll set it to a nice red color. Then I can set the max point type as well. As I said before, I want the higher numbers to be blue, so I'll set 100% as the percentage. Lastly, you have the option to add a midpoint. So if you don't want the numbers in the middle to be a mix of your min point and max point colors, you can set a midpoint here. I'll set this as gray. Now when I hit done, you'll see it automatically colors these cells based on how close they are to the min point, midpoint, and max point. Those are the basics of how to use conditional formatting. And now you can get started with some simple formatting. But Kyle, I hear you say, you said we'd come back to custom formulas. Right you are, hypothetical viewer, right you are. One of the things lots of folks use conditional formatting for is to highlight duplicates in a series, but with everything I've shown you so far, you can't do that. This is where custom formulas come into play. This can get a bit prickly, so stay with me. In the single color tab, I'll go and choose custom formula is from the dropdown, and I can now punch in a formula in the value and formula field. If the formula returns as true, then the cell will be formatted. If the formula is false, then the cell will be left alone. The formula is written in the point of view of the first cell in the series. I'll show you what I mean with an example, highlighting duplicates. Let's go back to our list of my coworkers, and let's say I want to highlight duplicates so I can make sure I don't accidentally count someone twice. For a small set of data like this, that might sound silly, but if you have a huge list of hundreds or even thousands of rows, this kind of thing can be super useful. So for the formula, I'll say equals count if, open parentheses, a colon a comma a1, close parenthesis, greater than 1. So remember, if this is true for a given cell, it will be formatted. So what this formula is doing is saying, I'm looking in column A for anything that matches whatever A1 says. If the count of that is greater than 1, then this is true. Now you may be asking, why are we only looking for cell A1? Won't that give us an incorrect answer? And my answer to that is no, you silly goose. Remember what I said about your formula being written from the point of view of the first cell in the series? This formula will be repeated down for every cell in the series, replacing the A1 in the formula. If you need to lock any of these in place, you can use the $ before the column and or the number to lock that cell reference in place. So if I hit done, you'll see any duplicate entries are now highlighted. And now you know how to use formulas to conditionally format your spreadsheet. But Kyle, what about Excel? Don't worry, I've got you. Instead of going to Format, then Conditional Formatting, there's actually a button for Conditional Formatting on the Excel home toolbar. And when you click on that, you'll see most of the same things I showed you over on Google Sheets. If you want to do formulas, you'll have to choose this option here, New Rule, and then choose the Use a Formula to determine which cells to format option. The rest is either the same or pretty similar, but if you want me to do an Excel-specific walkthrough, just let me know in the comment section below. If you haven't figured it out, I like making videos on spreadsheets and other nerdy stuff like this. You can see another beginner tutorial I did for merging cells here. Also, check out TechnologyAdvice.com for more tech info and goodies. Thanks as always, and I'll see you next time. Bye!